RJ and BJ just too good to practice and just giving them a little rest. You know what you got in them?
Yeah, it's load management for when you get to this point. Those guys got over 2,000 reps. Same thing with Jaden Hicks. So just be smart with those guys. Connor Gomez is in that same boat. We've seen him for about 20 snaps and just enough to stay sharp. But it's a long way to go to game one. We'll get them there.
Would you say maybe this was the best day so far for the offense through 6 days of spring ball?
Yeah, it's the same thing. When you make big plays, you take the ball down the field. Those guys made those plays today. And it's a combination of a lot of hard work. Sometimes when you get off those scripts and you get a better flow, I thought we were in a really good flow on offense today. And we saw off to a little bit of a slow start, but I thought John Mateer came in, give us some life. Cam made some big plays, and then it was good to see our playmakers out there doing some things down the field and still effectively running the football. So I thought it was a good day, and we'll see what the tape says.
Just notice there's a couple, some pushing and shoving and kind of what you get in the trenches. To the degree was that, how much do you kind of love that kind of intensity, that kind of, maybe not fighting, but battling in the trenches, and then after, you put your arm around your teammate?
Yeah, I think there's always a blend. I mean, iron sharpens iron. When you get these guys going at each other, for long enough that those things kind of happen. But at the end of the day, you can't allow it to be penalties. So I think there's a lot of learns from some of that stuff, and, we can't waste time. We got to keep moving on and keep getting better.
As a staff, what were the priorities today? What did you guys kind of come into the day wanting to accomplish?
Well, I think the biggest thing is base plays, execution, and fundamentals. Can we do some of our base stuff? It wasn't trick the offense. It wasn't trick the defense. It was who can execute base stuff, and now letting those roles run out, right? So when they're tired, how do they respond? When we make a mistake, how do we respond? I want to see how the guys finish. I got to check the tape out for that. Obviously, scrimmage is great for a lot of situational teaching. We have a long way to go. I'm really happy where we're at through 6 practices, and I think this tape will show us a little bit who we are, and we'll get those learns on Monday and keep moving forward.
Before the film, what groups or individuals just kind of stood out to you coming off the field?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I thought the offense was explosive. DT Sheffield made some big plays. Cooper Mathers made some big plays. I think John had some great throws. The O-line, I think we still gave up a few too many sacks. I want to see where that's at, and obviously not live. Those things have to play out. I'm interested, when we watch the tape, linebacker, some of these DBs, and kind of see. So to the naked eye, the Cougs won. That's where we were today, and excited about, just getting better off this film.
Was it a priority to, like, in some of those groups there's a lot of competition, like I guess O-line, D-tackles, wide receiver, to rotate a ton?
Today was very scripted. So we went 110 plays. We knew exactly how many rolls and reps everybody was going to get and against what group. So, like I said, linebacker will be big. Those guys got to start sorting themselves out. That nickel position needs to start sorting itself out. Who's going to be the best, 5 O-linemen. That thing will go all the way to game week. So there's a lot of things that we're going to learn off this tape. But we'll see some guys start to separate, and hopefully they get comfortable more and more with their roles.
Who'd you give those players of the day to today?
Yeah, the juice. Okay, I went to John Mateer and Cooper Mathers on offense. And it's been a culmination of what they've done 1 through 6. And I thought Ram Stevenson on defense is one of those guys that just keeps getting better and better the more we see him out there. And what I love about Ram is he's different. He's long, he's athletic, he gives us some of that speed rush, gives us some of that drop ability that I think is really good.
And then you talked about it a little bit, but how nice to see so many just big passing plays today, some long passes out there from a lot of different receivers.
Yeah, I mean, those things are really positive. It's what we want to do on offense, and hopefully it's because I look back on the film and there's good protection and there's good route running, and we're doing a culmination as a unit to make those plays happen, right? Because that's what it's going to take. It's not one man, it's not one group. We might be wide receiver by committee again and see some of those guys really stand out. Josh Kelly in the corner in the red zone. There was some good plays, being made, so exciting to see that happen.
And then you mentioned maybe giving up a little too many sacks, but was there any offensive linemen who stood out to you today? Anybody? In the team?
That's the one I really got to see the tape. I think Essa keeps getting better and better, and Falili has taken his game where we need for him to go, right? So to really solidify that tackle position is important to us, and we'll see what the tape says over time.
And then again, you have to see the tape. But what are, first glance, some of those things you're hoping to be a little bit smoother, a little bit better in the second scrimmage from this one?
Well, I thought we executed actually for the most part pretty good. One of the biggest things I look for is pre-snap penalties. There wasn't a lot of them. We talk about cutting it loose, whistle to whistle, and that just means knowing what to do and doing it fast and aggressive. So I thought we did that today. We limited some penalties, and those are the things internally, that I'm looking for.
Coach, it's not Gisa Field, but it is the first spring scrimmage. You got a lot of new faces. Does it feel like a fresh start, or what does it feel like right now?
Yeah, I was actually talking to Chaz about that a little bit on the side. It does. I had a lot of excitement for this first scrimmage, just to see some of these new guys really play, compete, deal with adversity, gel together. And I think you saw as the scrimmage went on, that offensive momentum, it built, right? And we got to have those times and those moments even when we're not rolling, that type of energy and enthusiasm. So thought it was infectious, and I thought it let those young guys come in and really compete really well.
Now it's after the first scrimmage. What do you focus on when it comes to the staff and it comes to what do you emphasize for those guys?
Man, we're just getting going. That's the message I had to the team after. I love where we're at, and we have so far to go. I mean, there's so much work to be had come Tuesday. It's one of those things. We get 48 hours. Let's get the learned. Let's get our bodies back ready to go, and we better come out 7 a.m. on Tuesday ready to compete our tails off. So it's going to see what this team is made of, see what the leadership's like, get some of those veteran guys back out at that practice, because we got a long way to go yet.
You always want explosive plays, but did you expect to have that many in a first spring scrimmage where you got a new offensive coordinator, bunch of new faces? Is that did that surprise you at all?
I expect big plays. I expect great things to happen. I believe it's going to happen, right? So those are things, and once again, it's Cougs win this thing. So it's O versus D. I'm happy for those guys that made those plays. The defensive guys have to respond. But at the end of the day, I believe we can do great things, right? So it didn't shock me at all today.
And my last thing for you is, where do you see if John Mateer, where has he made kind of the biggest strides here?
Well, I just think as a true freshman, you're not very comfortable at times. You're just learning, So to come in and have a better command of the offense, and John knows his role, and he's versatile, and he's different from Cam, and he can run around and do things that are his skill set, right? So I think we got two different guys there, and like I said, Cam was great today, and John just has been growing, and his confidence grows, and when you're at that position and you're confident, man, there's a lot of really positive things that you can do for this team. All right, guys, go Cougs.